They and we. They'll cash in big real soon now on real estate, hot stocks, or maybe even gold. We never gamble, don't buy new cars, and so very rarely even go out for dinner. They still spend more than they earn on things they casually ruin, then quickly discard. We saved enough to retire early, but still buy their cast-offs down at the thrift stores. 5 days a week and 50 weeks a year, they toil in nondescript obscurity. We're making more than that on just the interest from our nerdy savings. Got to have that flash new sports sedan and the latest giant whatever screen TV. We live large and free, driving old cars among them, and they do not even see us. Chained to credit cards and mortgages, their spoiled children act as a heavy ballast. It's so nice to be debtless and not even have any rent to pay, except for our portion of their health insurance. They march at precise and artificial angles laid out by simpering project managers. Finally cast aside for good, our days of narrow specialization are done at last. Heading up and moving out on all those weekends which are so quickly forgotten, we spend months wandering this land, often just trying hard simply to avoid them. Loading up on lattes, big gulps, and drive-thrus, they spend freely and grow fatter. We buy the good stuff raw and cook it up ourselves while sipping inexpensive tea. They get real work done on their cells while languishing in endless traffic jams. Our slow pace infuriates them on their busy ways to their latest, very important tasks. Their children cannot read or write despite all their attentions and the latest in meds. We wonder every day at the shabbier world their parents deconstruct for them. They get news between commercials and their opinions are spun from clever sound bites. We spit out media pellets like our dogs cough out the bitter pills we place into their food. They save a lot at Walmart while imports rise in proportion to jobs disappearing. We find that which lasts, even today remains, still the best. They push each other's buttons to get their readouts on phony litmus tests. We love to play act like we really care about either side of their false choices. Living for today has always been real exciting, but what do they remember now? The fast times they enjoy have passed us by at last, and we were not sad to see them go. They are happy being spoon-fed their fundamentalist evangelical beliefs. We are free to contemplate the terrible emptiness that approaches so very fast. They love fireworks, making noise in the excitement of crowds of clones. We search for peaceful, quiet places, trying to fit in and not to make a mess. They eagerly suckle on all the pious bullshit about the greatest country in the world. Now we hide our passports in shame traveling to places they cannot find on maps. They strive so hard to make their unique mark within the confines of the herd. We regularly get the crap kicked out of us by them for being just a little different. Their rights include free clean air and unlimited good water from their taps. We see what people in upstream places pour back for the towns below to enjoy. It's their view, it's animals and trees versus people, jobs, and our sacred way of life. We are cursed by the belief that we are destroying the very environment that supports us all. Ancient, ignored, and irrelevant history slides along just 10 to 15 years behind them. We consider some of our thoughts in light of the estimated age of the universe. Theirs is satisfaction in fertilized, poisoned, overwatered factory bluegrass. We look to experience climax forests with their food chains entirely intact. They want either money from the government or the right to kill any wolf that they see. We want their welfare cattle to stop abusing our federal lands for next to nothing. They search for the cheapest factory foods, never mind its manner of production. We want to eat morally and sustainably, and will gladly pay a little more to do it. They never miss reality shows, packaged big games, or special presentations. We found if you ignore them, such bees quickly stop buzzing between your ears. They idle their SUVs in air-conditioned comfort, awaiting their fast food orders. We try to find a little shade when it's hot and stir up something cool to drink. Their patriotic acceptance of our defense costs us nearly $1 trillion every year. We see no justification in spending more than all the rest of all the countries combined. They feel safe driving overpriced, inefficient dinosaurs designed just to wear out. We enjoy our tiny, fuel-efficient cars full of gizmos and quite comfortable. Make theirs quick, very sweet, greasy, fat-laden, and heavily caffeinated. We'll have the more subtle, smaller, whole-grain, homemade portions, please. They pursue an angry recreation in noisy, smoggy, devastating, gas-powered toys. We hike, swim, ski, surf, kayak, board, and can still hear our surroundings. Theirs is a world of backbiting, political intrigues, and private boardroom scheming. Our quiet search for self-discovery reveals destruction spreading out about their footprints. Their God commands they conquer the land and treat its creatures as they see fit. Our beliefs tend towards mutual survival within largely intact ecosystems. They feel safe behind locked doors within brightly lit, gated, and patrolled communities. We camp alone in empty places and draw peace from the starry silence. Their God moves about in his mysterious and fundamentalist ways. Our God has no will or message, and neither watches over nor awaits us. They leave a tattered, overpopulated world to their very special children. We blow off reproduction in protest of their vast and thoughtless destruction. They plaster their faces, get Botoxed, and send their poodles off to spas. We push aside most of their designer cast-offs, pawing through the thrift stores. Their new 300-horsepower SUV gives them a sense of pride and security. Our aging Japanese economy cars simply make more sense to us. They flaunt their finance luxuries in hopes all the world will be impressed. We hide our wealth and travel like burnout gypsies on pilgrimages to real-life experiences. They look away when they meet us walking, say, in a grocery store. We try to ignore them in their idling mortgage cars, talking noisily on their phones. Their giant, empty second homes are where their families might someday gather. Our persistence retains the access to the public lands they are trying to fence off. Their children fuel the market for garishly colored cereals shot through with sugar. Cheap hot dogs and pus-like white buns would go bad if it were only us buying. They have rolled more long-term credit card debt into their houses than they were ever worth. We sold our place before their greedy speculative bubble began to pop. Their taste for excitement, color, noise, and crowds keeps their senses full. Our search for quiet peace and tranquility always begins with avoiding them. They sternly lecture everyone that maintenance of the economy must come first. We just don't see how this wasteful circus could play on for 1,000 years. They control the human landscape, and to them so-called progress is quite inevitable. We will be extinguished due to their actions right along beside them.